Hello, everyone. Hello, Spurs fans. Paul Hotspur Hippie here. I like that countdown because when it says 0, it actually stops, whereas the other one I was using just like rumbled on a bit. And I put that banner up because I just can't be bothered doing thumbnails, and I did notice I did spell thumbnail wrong, so I had to edit it quickly. I hope no one noticed that. Hope you're all doing well. Some more top quality off-season filler waffle because there's nothing really happening, is there? It's all just speculation. I uploaded a video earlier about Raya and things at Spurs. I won't go into it. There's no point in repeating myself. Go and watch that. I was having a nice little fish today. That close, that close to catching one, man. And that's what I like about fishing is apart from just being nice and calm, it's the thrill of getting a bite because it doesn't happen very often. Then you get a bite and it's like man versus beast. But yet again, the bugger got away. I think I probably because like sometimes when I catch a fish, it's like it feels like free food. It's like um, but the amount of food I've actually chucked in to get that free food, I don't know if I'm up on the deal. I mean, where I live in Sydney Harbour, there's a rule you're not supposed to eat the fish, but I read into it and it's all about heavy metals and dioxin levels and things like that. And basically, if you're only catching one bloody fish a year, you can eat the damn thing as far as I'm concerned. It's probably a big conspiracy by big fisheries, if you ask me. How are we going in the in the chat? Sorry, and how you going, man? Nice to see you again. Love the thumbnail. Yeah, I know. I put a lot of time and effort because when I'm scrolling through, because pretty much I think I pretty much get most of my entertainment from YouTube. Actually, I don't really watch much free to air TV like adverts. I don't have any tolerance for adverts. I can't stand them. And you're scrolling around, and all the thumbnails are like of people. They've got the white outline round them, and they're like that. I hope he doesn't pick that as a thumbnail. And um, surprise at certain things. I was overly doing the whole thing, and I just can't be bothered with it, man. I can't be bothered with it. Um, Chris Gombar, thank you. Great thumbnail. That was just in case it next. In fact, I'm finding it quite funny the way because I don't do anything after this, and then when I see the videos, sometimes the thumbnail it's got a weird comment like I think the stream I did yesterday it said something like she has no hair growing out of her mole or something like that. So I kind of like the abstract weirdness of it. I've just noticed I've got a light on there, which I'll just switch off. There we go. There we go. And I mean, the only real news I've seen is, but I have talked about this in the other video. Is David Ray has agreed personal terms according to Fabrizio Romano, which I think would be a good buy for Spurs. I watched something that's inspired me, or something that I'm going to get onto in a second here. I watched Sean Butler's video on Spurs Talk Show where he talks about Raya and why he reckons he's a good buy for Spurs, and he's using this tool called Y Scout, which I thought I'd have a quick look at. But it got to the stage of you've got to type in all your details and all this shit, and I just couldn't be arsed with it. I didn't. You probably have to, then give your payment details, and then I'll forget to cancel it like I do with every other bloody thing. But it was interesting. But you see, I like to use my eyes, and I don't think Sean was flawed in it, but I think Sean actually did it pretty fairly. But I'm pretty sure if you are particularly interested in a player, you could kind of pick and choose what would be. I don't think Sean did this, by the way. I'm not saying that, but I reckon you could pick and choose what you reckoned was important just to get the player you want near the top. So what I've just done here is I've uh, I've seen people here and there like using sofa scores. Um, I've seen a couple of Spurs people do it and other football channels, and I haven't really had a look at SofaScore much. I've just had a quick look now and then after games, and I've really come to the conclusion. Oops, sorry. Hello, Leon. Nice to see you, man. I've kind of come to the conclusion that it's a bag of old cack, and I thought I'd give you an example of why it is a bag of old cack. So what we'll do is, if I get this right, if I click this button, here we go. So here's serial Premier League winner and Champions League winner now, Aymeric Laporte, become a bit more of a substitute, I suppose, this year. And you can see his overall score 6.78 there, and like you can see, he's a left. He's a halfback. Sorry, centre half on the left hand side. You see his heat map here. That's no surprises there. So he seems to get a bit up the pitch. There's all this old guff here, so he's really good at tackling and defending, I suppose. And then there's all this stuff that I couldn't really be bothered reading. But overall, right, if you're going by stats, you'd think, okay, 6.78. Are any of our defenders better than 6.78? It is showing up, isn't it? Yeah. It is. Are any of our players better than 6.78? And what do you know? If you look at Eric Dyer, statistically, he's a better defender. And look at him, like he looks like a monster in the middle of the pitch, doesn't he? Old Eric Dyer. Look at all this domination he's done here. So like if you're going on just this number here, you'd be going, oh, why are we bothering looking at Laporte? We've got a better player, haven't we? We've got Eric Dyer. I mean, that's as far as I've got with my investigation of SofaScore. And I think I'll sort of end there because it's fallen at the first hurdle, really, isn't it? I mean, what sort of stats have they got here? I mean, I don't get this expected goals. What a load of bollocks, man. What a load of bollocks. Sorry, it's giving me a migraine, man. It's giving me a migraine. But we'll go back. For you, if you've just come along, I'm just showing why stats are bollocks here. Eric Dyer, 6.83. Trophy laden Aymeric Laporte, 6.78. So I don't know why some places a bit. I've heard the Fleet Street meatheads, hacks. I've seen a couple of reports where we're being linked with Laporte, but if you're like a stats guru, then you're going to say, well, Eric Dyer's better, aren't you? Anyway, so enough of that. Enough of that. Who are we going here? Substitute who is good enough for me. Our defence is trash. It's pretty, yeah. I mean, you can't argue against that, really, can you? It's 62 goals, doesn't lie, and they weren't all the keeper's fault. I mean, a few of them were, to be fair, but a number of times I would see opposing players just run around their defenders like they weren't there. We would have been better off having traffic cones just in case they just tripped up, whereas our defenders. And what? Now think of it. I think our defenders are worse than traffic cones because they keep backing away, don't they, without putting a foot in. Whereas if it was a traffic cone, at least they'd have to go around, and there's a chance that when they're going around a stationary object, they might, have a heavy touch or something like that. Whereas we just back off, and then, as I did a video on the Irish Hotspur a while ago about Eric Dyer, and I called that technique drawing the shot. Who else we got? Mark. I didn't catch anything, man, but I had a good couple of nibbles, and that's exciting enough for me. I don't really catch much, but I don't know, I just like sitting down there, and it's quite funny that people that walk past we usually have a little chat. There was family, a bunch of kids, and they're asking me questions about it. It's pretty good fun. And then there was one person, and they said, "So what do you do if you catch a fish?" And I said, "Well, if it's big enough, I'll eat it." And then I get a lecture of why I shouldn't be eating the fish. It's like, look, I'm not going to cook it for you. I'm just going to eat it myself. So, I know all that. I know about the heavy metals and dioxins, and I'm just satisfied that I catch so little fish. I'm not going to have the build up of all that in my system. Besides, ocean fish have got plastic and God knows what in them anyway these days. So I don't know, man. So no, unfortunately I didn't, but I did have a bit of the thrill of the chase, man. Although I lost half a chicken breast in the process. The fish seemed to like a bit of chicken, or although rather they like just taking it off my hook, the little buggers. Die passing back and pointing is yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does, and if I don't laugh about stuff like that, it's going to make me cry a bit. Hey, Darlington FC, here we go again. 400 plus, yeah, yeah. It's doing what I thought it would do. So I think I got a bit lucky with an Ange Postecoglou video. So I got a few subs of that, and now it's slowed down. So it's sort of going at a normal newbie rate, which is all cool, all cool. Oh, looks like Mia's around. Hello, Mia. How you going, man? How you going, man? Here we go. Most important stat is trophies. Yeah, I mean, I suppose. Uh, Trophies. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, when it comes down, I'm just trying to think. I suppose, like I suppose when I'm looking at a player on Wikipedia, I'll go generally. I'll almost go straight down to the honours bit and see what they've won. So, yeah, I think maybe individual club records might be something. Steve Perriman with 866 appearances is pretty good, although he won 6 trophies as well. But Harry Kane being our leading scorer is pretty good. It depends what Harry wants out of football. Sometimes on the odd occasion you get players that just want to stay at one club. Like I think we were talking about the other night about Matt Letitia, who was a fantastic footballer, but stayed at Southampton his career because he just liked playing for Southampton. And I suppose if someone, a fan from another club or a pundit, said to him, you're a loser. You didn't go and win it. You lack of ambition. You didn't go and win anything. He probably wouldn't care because the only thing he would care about is, the admiration he gets from Southampton Football Club fans. So maybe Harry Kane's like that. Maybe not. Who knows? All right, Manny. Here you go, man. Nice to see you back. All right, Isarian. Okay, the inside info on Angie. Okay, Isarian. You're not. Is that your actual name, or have you taken that name? Because I seem to remember there was a character called Isarian in Catch 22, which is a pretty cool book by Joseph Keller. Angie's attacking system relies on rock solid defenders who can consistently pass from out the back quickly. Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if under pressure. How are we looking with this in mind? Oh God, man. For you haven't watched us last season, have you? Look, part of it is probably down to the way we were set up last season with 5 at the back. But nevertheless, it's as if some of our defenders get a little bit of stage fright. When they're on the ball, they take too long on it. They're looking around, and quite often they'll pass it to the nearest player to them. Ben Davies does that a lot, and then he'll just get the ball back. So there's a lot of useless possession. But even though I think I'm fed up with the sight of Davies and Dyer and Sanchez and Tanganga, that also may be part of the tactics, because the way we were playing last year was counter-attacking. So we're relying on drawing the opposing team onto us, and then when I don't know, all the planets align, we managed to get one over, and the three forwards get onto it and score a goal. But if I were to say, so how are we looking with this in mind? Not very good at the moment. There's a chance that uh, that that Emerson could kind of do it, because this season he was kind of expected to run more up the pitch. And I guess the wing back, a phrase I can't stand, is he's supposed to run up the pitch and knock it into the far post in the box, which Emerson was a bit crap at. But he actually turned. He's not a bad defender actually, and if he's only expected to say knock it down the channel to a winger, or not that far, he might be all right at it. Romero might be okay with it, but that might be as far as it goes. Like Dyer, he's another player that will pass it 5 foot, nearest player, pass back to the goalie, all that sort of horrible shit. Often will get caught with the ball, or do a hospital pass. He's a very good hospital pass player, so he'll pass to someone who's got 3 players marching onto them. And the other thing that Eric Dyer does is just do these kind of, he tries to ping it 40 yards, and that may find a player 1 in 5 times off the top of my head. So he'll have to be changed. I don't know if Ange will be able to get a tune out of him. Ben Davies is very, very hit and miss. He can't get up the pitch. He gets to a certain point and he just has to turn inside and gets caught out. We've got a bit of a gap at left back. We've got Udogie coming in, but I'm not exactly sure whether Udogie. I don't know what he's like as a defender. I've kind of only seen the odd bit of sizzle reel from him where he looks like a pretty skillful forward going player. But as far as defending, I don't know. So to answer your question quickly, I don't think we're in very good shape at the back at all. We need a goalkeeper as well. We need a sweeper keeper to fit in with Ange's system now. It looks like we're on the cards maybe for Raya, although Levy's doing his usual and haggling over it, which is very frustrating. But I think David Raya would be absolutely perfect. There's probably other keepers out there that are perfect as well, but Raya was one that really stuck in my mind from this year. So I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, Mia, I'm pretty good, man. John Fitzpatrick, g'day, man. I hope you haven't pushed Eric Dyer off a cliff yet, or maybe I hope you have. It's just a joke, internet. I don't condone violence. I'm a hippie. Born to Lose, 73. Must be a year younger than me, kitty. Hi, Paul. Just discovered you started the channel. Love your previous appearances on other streams. Good luck with it, and come on, you Spurs. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. I'm still gonna pop up on other streams. I did a stream last night where a few people come on, and I don't know if I'm quite comfortable at doing that, because one thing I do know is that being at the arse end of the world in Australia, there is maybe like a half-second delay, and so for me to get a word in edgeways, it's very difficult to find a pause in the conversation, and I really don't like sort of just brute forcing my way over other people. I can't, even though the people that I had on were really great. There was Nick and Aaron, and Jacob, and Chris. They're all great to have on. I don't know if that's my if I'm any good at that, if I really add anything to that. There's other channels that do that sort of thing way better. So I don't know how much I'll do that. I'll still have people on, but maybe I might limit it to 1 or 2 at a time, instead of just having the Brady Bunch set up. But there's loads of channels that do that really good. I mean, I watch them. So I don't know if I'll do that. I'll see how I feel. I feel different days. But thanks, Born to Lose. Fishing is not about catching. That's why it's called fishing. That's very true. Catching is a bonus. Just being there is enough. It is. And it was fun today, though, because I did get a couple of decent nibbles. They do feel strong in the water. It's probably only that big, but I'm entering into their domain via a fishing line where they're they're the supreme things, and you can feel how bloody strong they are. It might be tiny, but yeah, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it very much. Sessignon has to go. It's becoming embarrassing. 2 OK games out of the last 5 years. Yeah, nah. It's a funny one, old Sessignon, because I remember, you know, about this time last year when uh, Conte selected his team to go off on the pre-season jolly to South Korea, and he left a few players behind, which was a big signal that he didn't want them, wasn't interested in them. And one of the players was Regulon, and I might have my memory wrong here, but I think I thought at the time I preferred Sessegnon over Regulon for some reason. I can't exactly remember why. But he's been crap this year, hasn't he? He's been very, very disappointing. Um, and I can't quite remember what Regulon. A few people are saying they like Regulon now, and I'm just wondering if, I mean, that might be true, or it might be, well, compared to Sessegnon, he was pretty good. So, who knows? But I'm not. I'm not a fan really. Very, very disappointing. Usarian, thanks for your thoughts on that one. Yeah, I went on a bit, didn't I? Yeah, Paul was my adopted YouTube fan. As a fan of the character from Catch 22. It's a brilliant book. Hey, I might have to read that again. I read that. How long ago did I read that one? But probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I'd never read it before, and it was. It's a brilliant satire on warfare. Very, very good book. Yeah, Yossarian, man, that's the one. Who watches or listens to Keith Arthur? Oh, bloody hell, fishing expert. I probably need some of that, but no, no, no. I just go and just do what I do. I'm sure there's a knack to it or whatever, but I don't know. I just either go with the soft plastic lure, waggle it around, or if I'm feeling lazy, just want to chill out. That's what I was doing today. I just put a bit of crap on the bait, chicken or prawns, or I was going to get some of that pet food out of the supermarket today, but I just thought it's like in a great big like 5 kilo bag in the fridge, and I'm thinking it's going to go all shitty in my fridge, something like that. All right, Nick, you'd love to give Reggie another go. Okay, well, why is that, man? What have you seen in him? What tickles your fancy there? Don't you think young players need a run of games to show if they're good enough? Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, if you're referring to like the youth players we've got, for sure, but I mean they've still got to be good enough, haven't they? That's the thing. And we've had a couple of managers on the bounce that really didn't seem that interested in giving youngsters a chance. Um, but have we got young players that are good enough anyway? I mean, our under 23 performance was pretty disappointing this season. But our under 18s and under 17s, was it, or 16s? They both won titles. In those age groups, there are a couple of players that tickle my fancy. There's a guy called, is it Mickey Moore? I think it's Mickey Moore. He's a young kid though. He's 15, probably turning 16 soon. So not quite yet there for him, but I hope we don't lose him. I've only seen him in one game, which was the title final, and he really did look. He looked like the business to me. He really did. He looked very comfortable on the ball, scored goals. Really, he looked like he could put the spin on the ball like Glenn used to do. Not obviously he's not going to be at Glenn standards yet, but there was a nice little from a free kick. There were two things I liked about his free kick. One was as soon as the free kick was given, it was pretty ball on the ground taking it. So you're catching the other team on your hop a bit. and he played it along the ground with a bit of spin, so it sort of curved round into the guy that was running onto it into the box, which was really it was a great pass, great free kick. And the other one is an older kid, Dorrington, centre half. Is he centre half, full back? No, centre half, I think. And he looked really good as well. And I think he might be old enough to almost give a go. I got no problem with playing kids at, I don't care what age they are. There's been a number of times in football where, young kids have been given a chance and they've been good enough. Norman Whiteside, Paul Allen, Phil Foden for Man City. So for me, age isn't really a factor. And if Ange will be looking at that, I reckon. Ange will be looking at our youth team and seeing who's up to scratch, and hopefully he'll implement what he did at Celtic, which was to have the youth and like the reserve players training more or less alongside the first team squad, so that if they do come over, it's not as weird and wonderful and like alien for them. I don't know if we do that at Tottenham. I don't know if our youth setup is actually very good at the moment at all. But I think that's a really good idea to do that, get them familiar, and also get them playing in the same style as well. I don't know if we've been consistent through all our teams, like when we've been playing this defensive, pragmatic bullshit, counter-attacking, boring football. I don't know if our youth teams have been playing that, and that's probably a good thing now. And judging from the highlights and moments I saw from the kids' finals, it didn't look very pragmatic to me. So maybe that was a good thing that they weren't in sync. Grabbed the wrong remote control there. But yeah, no, give them a go. And don't what you need is you need them to have good experienced heads around them if you're giving a go, to protect them a little bit, keep their spirits up, because chances are you might make the odd cock up, and I think you've got to be quite, because when you just jump up to that level, it's a bit daunting, bit of pressure, and you've got to give them a few games, like you say, to see if they can cut it. I mean, Steve Perriman, I think his debut at 17, so no, I reckon we should do it. Okay, right. So glimpses of, so we're talking about Regulon here, Nick. Saw glimpses of quality, and perhaps as a fullback he might be good. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Angie's pretty good on giving players a second chance when he feels that they're sincere about it, I think. So, you never know. You never know. Well, this is a good question. I like this one. Born to lose. How do you think Poch will do at Chelsea? Will he get them sorted, or will it be a Clough at Leeds? That's yeah, I like that comparison actually. Scenario considering his Spurs history. Um, well, obviously I'm going to be biased about this. Um, I don't think he's going to do very well at all, just because that that squad seems to have been assembled without any idea of that chemistry between players, um, and players complement each other's strengths and weaknesses, how they get on. I mean, they don't have to be best friends or anything like that. Um, it's just been a random hodgepodge of paying too much for players, and I think Poch is gonna. I think he's going to struggle quite a bit with that. But it's interesting you mentioned that Clough at Leeds thing. I hadn't actually thought of that, but I know when Graham Roberts went over to Chelsea, because we did him a disservice by letting him go a bit too early. Pleat rang him up and just said, "You're not in my plans," and that was basically the length of the conversation. And he ended up going to Chelsea. Roberts, I remember him saying once that I think he was in the canteen at Stamford Bridge, and it was one of the staff there just said to him, "We don't like Yids here." So there might be a little bit of I think that Clough at Leeds might be a good one there, man. I don't think he'll go into Chelsea and say, right, you've got to throw all those trophies in the bin. But there was anyway, animosity from Chelsea to Spurs. Whether that's still there like it used to be, I don't know. But I don't see it working out for him there. I really don't, because you've got a chairman there who hasn't got a clue about football, and he does dumb shit like going into the dressing room. I mean, I heard Arsene Wenger talk on a program when they were discussing this, and Arsene Wenger said, no, it never happened with him, because he would have it in his contract. He would actually have it in his contract that the dressing room is the dressing room. You don't come anywhere near it. Now, do I really think Poch should be strong enough to have that in his contract with someone like Bowley? No, I don't. So I think he's going to have a lot of interference happening, and I think he will fail. And to be honest, I hope he really does fail badly. Nothing, and this is not personal against Poch, really. I just really want him to fail. I don't really blame him for going to Chelsea, really, because he's hanging around for us to give him a phone call, and we didn't bother. So he's got every right to go wherever he wants. I think. I know Chelsea's our, some people say Chelsea's our, our rival. I don't really feel that way, like not in a sporting sense anyway. I don't like a lot of their fans, but from a football rivalry, to me, it's just the same as any other game playing Chelsea. Arsenal's the big one for me, Arsenal for sure. But Chelsea just doesn't ring my bell. So yeah, Clough at Leeds, I remember that one. That's a good one, man. Clough at Leeds. Well, we'll see. How long did Clough last at Leeds? Was it 30, 40 days? It wasn't long, was it? It wasn't long. They didn't give him much of a go, but he pissed off the likes of Giles and Bremner as soon as he went in there. Mark Sheriff, Cousins, I hope Poch does horribly, just because it's Chelsea. The man himself is the one that made me proud to support us. Yeah, like I said, I don't really bear him that much animosity, but now he's just the manager of another football team, isn't he? And I was quite excited. I remember when we were looking for a manager, and I know we were looking for Louis van Gaal, but I was actually keen on Poch at the time. I really was, and I think it might have been, probably was Van Gaal. I wasn't really too fussed on. I can't remember why that was now. I can't remember why that was. But there was something about Pochettino. I saw Southampton play a couple of times, and I thought they were pretty good. But maybe it's just simple as the Argentinian connection for me. Wistful memories of Ozzy and Ricky, and seeing Maradona in a Spurs shirt, which I know you hate him, but it was fun seeing him in a Spurs shirt. Ozzy's testimonial, but yeah, it goes down in flames, man. I'd love it. Chelsea went there. If they went down, man, wouldn't that be gorgeous, eh? Oh, that would be sweetness beyond belief. Just to get rid of them, so we don't even have to talk about them anymore. We don't get distracted by them. It'd be hilarious. And I don't think I'm being too unrealistic there. I mean, their form, the second half of last season was absolutely abysmal. So Poch has got to turn that around for a start. And you got the teams coming up from the old championship. I'm not even sure. Is it? I don't even know how do you find what division is it? Is it League Championship? It's so much easier when it's just divisions 1 to 4. It was so much easier. So who we got? We've got. I thought Luton Town got through on playoffs, didn't it? Oh no, it's what? Hang on. Oh no, sorry, yeah. Sorry. So it's Burnley. Burnley might well do okay. God, they got 100 points, scored 87 goals. Let's bring this. Hang on. Let's bring this up. So you'd expect Burnley to do all right. Sheffield United, I'd say, would be a little bit iffy. Historically, they're a bit of a yo-yo club, so I'm not convinced about them. And the same with Luton Town. I mean, look, that was 20 points off the top there, man. Burnley ran away with it. So you'd think that Burnley would be able to hold their place in the Premier League next year, but who knows? Football's a funny old game, isn't it? Really, they've got to probably strengthen their squad in areas, and where they got the money or inclination to do that, who knows, man. Don't feel sorry for Poch. Oh, I don't feel sorry for him, not at all. And he wasn't my choice as manager anyway. So what I'm saying, he was waiting for the phone for us to call him. I'm glad we didn't call him because Ange Postecoglou was my man all the way. I hope they don't treat him well and goes to shit. Well, I hope they treat him all right, man. I hope they treat him all right. I don't want them to, I don't want him to, have a nervous breakdown all over it. I just want the team to be unsalvageable. That's what I really want. Darius Vasilian Kaitis. Big up, Paul. Can't keep up with you. Live again. Respect. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, I don't think I'll do too long tonight, man. But yeah, come on, you Spurs, man. Bit tired, Bit tired. I was up early. I was up. What time was I up about 5 this morning? Started streaming about 5:30 or something. Did a few hours this morning in the end, I think, which is a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting anyone to watch this morning because it's like Sunday night in the UK. People are working in Australia, but it was quite good. There's a few round tonight. That's nice to see. 44 days, yeah, it sounds about right. I mentioned last night a really great documentary about Brian Clough, mainly on his years at Nottingham Forest. It's called "I Believe in Miracles." If you see that knocking about anywhere, well worth a view. Well worth a view. Lots of old players talking about him on it. I think it starts off with him, that TV interview he did. It was him and Don Revie. And in that interview, I really did like Brian Clough was quite a fairly young man there, and I really loved the answers he was giving the interviewer. He's sitting there straight face saying, "I believe in theories at the bottom of the garden. I believe that. I wanted to win it. I wanted to win the championship with Leeds better than you." And Don Revie wasn't having it. And Don Revie, ugh, not a big fan of Don Revie. Chris, g'day mate. Hope you're doing well. I've grown out of hating other players, teams, managers, except Madrid. Just appreciate the talent and good footy. That's a nice chill way to be, man. Yeah, I kind of do hate other teams a bit and other fans a bit, but it's kind of harmless hate. It's kind of within the realms of football. It's not like but I don't really watch a lot of football outside Tottenham because it's all on at crappy hours, and I'm flat out just watching Spurs games really. And I can't really watch a full game after it's been on. So like if I sleep and I miss a Spurs game, when I get up in the morning, I'll just look straight at the score. I won't sit there and watch it as live. Don't know why that is for some reason. I'm just too tempted to jump to the end, perhaps. There's one time, though, I think it was when we were playing. Yeah, it was the Aston Villa game. Aston Villa game where they beat us, and I had the Irish Hotspurs watch along on, and I fell asleep at one point, and then I sort of woke up a bit bleary eyed, and it said it was Tottenham. I think it was Tottenham 3, Aston Villa 1, and I'm thinking, oh right, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. Bloody hell! And I was getting all excited there for a second, and it turns out what I'd done is I'd fallen asleep so long that they'd finished their stream of that game, and the YouTube autoplay had come on, and I think what they were actually talking about was it was a youth game. That was it, because it was like when they were mentioning players like Dorrington, and I was thinking, oh, right, have we given him a go? I can't remember seeing him in the starting lineup or the subs bench and that, and that's when I twigged that no, we did actually end up getting stuffed by Aston Villa. Daniel Sandoval, good morning, one love. Yes, peace and happiness everywhere on earth except on the football pitch. That's the place for it. It helps us vent all that, that sort of bit of, because we all like evolved, we all got a little reptile brain still in there. We just got all this like big human brain around it, but we still got this like bit in here that's like, that's the bit like if someone's eating a sandwich, there's probably a little part of your brain, if you're hungry, you feel like hitting them over the head with a club and nicking their sandwich, so we kind of, suppress all that, but it's got to go somewhere. And I think, getting involved in sport, following a team, any old sport will do, but football is great because it seems to be encompassing the whole world, and I think the more people get involved with that or kick a ball around, we're less likely to pick up guns and shit, aren't we? Van Football Vents. That's an interesting name, eh? How are you, Paul? Happy Postacoglu Monday. Yeah, well, let's hope it's a happy Postacoglu every day for the next, 1,300 days. And it's not like, like 44 days. Well, he's going to stay longer than that because that's going to cover pre-season, isn't it? Yeah, Luton beat Coventry on penalties. And I'm just looking forward to, I remember, what's the ground called? What's Luton ground called? Someone will tell me in the chat. But I've been there, and the away end is like the weirdest thing you'll ever see. If anyone has a chance to go to Luton away, Luton's a bit, but the ground is a trip, man. It's like you're walking through houses to get to it. There's like terrace houses, and you walk like they kind of carved out a little bit in the houses, which you walk through, and then you're like going up steps, and there's like back gardens, like it's almost like it's like Coronation Street or something. It's the Vicarage Road. Is it Vicarage Road or is that? No, it's Watford, isn't it? I can't remember. Can't remember, man. Excuse me. This year was funny because the three teams that came up stayed up. I didn't even realise that, man. Wow. Okay, yeah. I can't remember that happening as well. Usually one of them's odds on to go down, isn't it? It's often Norwich City for a start, isn't it? I'm running out of nicotine supplement. Bloody hell. Dear, oh dear. Mark, Satoshi, did I catch a fish? No, but I had a nibble. I had fun down there. I had a bit of an adrenaline rush, fighting with a monster. Like Moby Dick, I caught it with a spear and I'd just be like dragged under, like Gregory Peck, waving my arm. Borsaloo's being over in Oz a bit, you really miss going to the lane. Yeah, I do, man, but it's been a while though, so, well, maybe not last season. No. It was a hard watch at times in the South Stand, believe me. Yeah. I probably I do miss it. But even when I was in England, I moved up to I moved up to Sheffield in 1990. So I only managed to see Spurs a few times when they were playing up there. And then when I moved back down to London, I wasn't there long before I came out to Australia anyway. And I was really disappointed with the atmosphere actually, even at that stage. But I didn't see that too many really good games. So I miss the old lane, man. I miss the old. I don't miss it. That's the wrong way of putting it, really. But I was very fond of the Shelf when it was an all terrace madhouse. I used to love it. It was so much fun. Brian Cleft started at Hartlepool, yeah, back in the day. Yeah. His career was cut short with an injury. Did he manage Hartlepool as well? I think he played for them. Did he manage Hartlepool first? I know he did Derby County. Won a championship with them. I mean, Brian Clough was just a ridiculous manager, wasn't he? And he's that guy that unfortunately, because he was outspoken, didn't get the England manager job. I mean, God knows what he could have done there. It would have been fantastic. But we got bloody Ron Greenwood, didn't we? Kenilworth Road, Kenilworth Road. They're all coming in now. Hippie, you bloody mind-addled idiot. Maybe it's like, the one fish I do catch a year. Maybe there's like mercury in it, and it's like, gone a bit doolally. Kenilworth Road. That's it. Yeah, I think I might have been there when David Pleat was still managing them. It was a while ago now. Even Darlington FC have beaten Chelsea. Yes, have they really? Okay, that's nice. Back in the day in the FA Cup, 4-1, 4-1, man. At the Feedham's ground, Darlington's old ground was 15,000, man. 15,000 in 1958. So what division were Darlington in back then? Because maybe in Chelsea would have been first division then, would they? 1958. I don't think they've always been in the first division. I'm pretty sure I remember when Chelsea was in the second division. I remember West Ham being in the second division a fair bit. I'm pretty sure I remember Chelsea in the second division. I can't swear on it though. Can't swear on it. Yeah, we're the Shell side, we're the Shell side, we're the Shell side, Tottenham. We're the Paxton, we're the Paxton. Yeah, it's good fun that. Does that still go on at Tottenham now? Does that happen? Does there? I mean, I don't know what the what. I mean, I don't even know. All I've heard people talking about is like South Stand, maybe. I don't know. Is that all? I mean, couldn't we have a Bill Nicholson stand or something like that? Maybe Danny Blanchflower stand. I mean, like maybe I'm asking for the moon on a stick for Daniel Levy to fork out some Wongaloo for a bronze artisanal statue of Bill Nicholson outside the ground, but to get a bloody sign writer on one of the stands and just go Bill Nicholson. I mean, that's not going to cost anything, is it? What names would you call the stands? I suppose Bill Nicholson, Danny Blanchflower. They're the two players that really spring to mind. I don't know who else would get the nod. Maybe Steve Perryman for being longest, the most appearances, and maybe after he goes, Harry Kane for being the leading scorer. I don't know. Arthur Rose stand. We're only talking about a lick of paint there, aren't we? To do something like that. I mean, that's pathetic. We haven't done that because a lot of grounds do that, don't they? Morning, Squire. Morning, Jose or Jose. I don't know if you're Portuguese or Spanish. Wow, you're in the fourth division, man. Fourth division, and you beat Chelsea. Nice one. Yeah, that's the thing about the FA Cup, and you still get that at the moment. Like Stevenage, Aston Villa this year was a good one. Am I right in thinking that Wrexham beat Arsenal at one point? I remember there used to be this good old program on the BBC, 100 Great Sporting Moments, and I'm sure I could swear there was about 300 in it though. And one of the ones they showed was I think it was Hereford United beating Newcastle in the FA Cup, and like Hereford was like a bugger all ground, and there were people up trees. They were climbing up trees, sitting in trees, watching the game. And that's what I really like about the FA Cup, and the fact that Spurs used to feel like Spurs won it all the time, or we used to get to the finals, and to think that when we won it in '81, we hadn't won it for 14 years, and even that was like a big deal. Even though we'd had two League Cups and a UEFA Cup in the meantime, but 14 years without an FA Cup win was huge for Spurs, and now it's going to be 34 years if we win it next year. I mean, I had a head full of hair. I was 18 years old when we. It's embarrassing, isn't it? It really is bloody embarrassing. But at least I was alive to remember it. Bloody hell. Chelsea turned down playing in the European Cup in the 50s. They must have been high up division wise. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, because there was, the English are the suits in the Football League and the FA. We were a bit poo-pooey about the European Cup, weren't we? And the World Cup. Didn't want to know. And then we went to the World Cup and got spanked by the United States of America. It was welcome to world football, England. But the clubs like Tottenham saw the importance of being in Europe. Bill Nicholson saw the importance of being in Europe, and so did Matt Busby, and so did Jock Stein. Jock Stein, I actually watched because while I was watching a bit of Celtic, getting into the Postecoglou vibe, I actually watched the '67 European Cup final, and it was a really good game. And Celtic were absolutely fantastic. They really were. They were every bit worthy of being European champions in '67. It was a fantastic team. I think they got to did they get to the semi-finals or finals a couple of years later as well. They had a really good run in the European competition. An incredible team, and they beat Man United by 1 year. So I don't mind that either. Nicotine supplements. All right, we're good. We're good. Sad being a nicotine advert. I find my brain goes a bit weird if I don't have it. But it's all right. I don't want advice on giving up. No worries, man. Okay, mostly with the Park Lane. Okay. So what road did they get rid of then? Did they get rid of like Northumberland or something like that? Yeah, Gary. Well, you know what, Gary? I know. Whoever. Just bloody someone. Just bloody someone. You know, Mitchell Thomas stand. I don't know, Paul Moran side. I don't give a shit. But just someone give the place a bit of football feel. I know when people, from outside of the football world are going to see um, someone like bloody Ed Sheeran. Oh, Ed Sheeran, man. I don't. Yeah, I think the world has turned too much for me to get music these days. I am turning into my parents and grandparents. I can't hum it. But I suppose when people go for that, that concert experience, you don't want to be reminded of football in any way, do you? Those dirty working class football fans, when you're going there to, hum along to Ed Sheeran's latest soulless dirge, just feel good. Ed Sheeran music is just stuff I haven't really heard. I don't think I've even heard a whole Ed Sheeran song, but and I haven't used Facebook for years. I'm not really big on social media, but I remember years ago, Facebook would send you this thing once in a while. Oh, look, we've automatically compiled pictures that you've put in for the last 5 or 10 or 100 years, and share this with your friends. And you think, why? Why? And the soundtrack along to it would always sound like this, like Ed Sheeran. Yeah, it's just saccharin. It's not even sugar. It's pretend sugar. All right, Perchy, g'day, mate. Would love one of the stands to be named after Bill Nick, man. Yeah, but they want to keep it neutral for non. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, surely even if you had you had it on like old flipboards, so you know what when it wasn't football, you could hide the fact that it was a football fan. But while football's going on, you want to be reminded of this shit. Yeah, I cane in. I mean, I think it's a bit premature for all that. You gotta give it, let it mature in an oak barrel for a while. Um, but I prefer it. No, actually, no, Harry Kane, no, because that still means that I think that's in with the narrative that Enoch has invented Tottenham Hotspur. So I think I'd prefer it to be someone prior to 2000. Okay, Jose it is, man. Jose. Buenos dias. Mi tortuga beben leche. And the only other I know swear words apart from that, which I can't say, but when I hear Spanish people talk, They're the words that pop out. Especially Mexicans seem to say them more than Spanish people. Bradford at Chelsea. Okay, there's another one. Mickey Thomas goals beat Arsenal. Mickey Thomas? Oh, okay, gotcha. We're talking. Oh, Wrexham. So okay, is the old Swiss cheese is functioning. Yeah, Wrexham did beat Arsenal. Brilliant. That's the great thing about the FA Cup. The worst one I remember, bloody hell, was it was 1988. So we got to the final in '87, lost to Coventry. But the next season, we were kind of feeling a bit cock a hoop before we realised that our team had kind of gone to shit a little bit. And I think we might have beaten Oldham in the first round, and went up to Port Vale, all excited, and we lost 2-1. Neil Ruddock scored for us, but we were just watching. What the fuck is this? And it was like a dismal day. And at one point, I was there with my mates, and I remember this split second where it seemed that everyone cleared from around us. And I remember thinking for a brief moment, why are they doing that? Before an advert hoarding smacked us on the back of the head, like they must have seen what was going on. Some Spurs fans at the top of the stand had enough and started, ripping off advert hoardings and throwing them down. Bloody hurt, man. He knocked my mate out. He went down, and I was like a bit starry-eyed for a second. So yeah, and it was the worst train journey back to London I've ever experienced. That one, it was just. Johnny Bethnal Green, Kent. That's a flourish of a name there. All right, he's okay, we're just talking to each other. Yeah. The Celtic team were all, yeah, that's right, all born within 10 miles. I think one was just outside 10, but it was like maybe 20 miles or something like that. But I mean, yeah, and they were an incredible team, incredible team. Paxton Road has gone. Okay, so that's where they built it. Because it's been so long since I've been there. I did look at it on a map, and I even not so long ago I took the Street View walk from Seven Sisters Station up to the ground, and I've heard Ellie say that it hasn't changed, but I can't actually remember it. I was walking up thinking, yeah, none of this seems really that familiar. The only thing that was similar was that to do that in Street View, it took as long as the bloody walk did when I used to go. And Mark says, just watch Son Heung-min from Spurs kicking 100 goals on YouTube. Nice. Yeah, he has got some skills. Angel get the best out of him. Well, he's hoping, eh? Yeah. He's, was it Leicester? He banged. He came on as a sub and got a hat trick, and he was bang because he can bang him in with both feet. But yeah, he only needs to see this much of a goal, and he has a crack. So yeah, I'm hoping he comes back to his best, because he went from Golden Boot winner to having a bit of a tough time. Stefan Deluxe named the whole stadium Bill Nick. Well, maybe if Spurs fans can have a whip round and just hand Daniel Levy a big sack of $150 million and just say, call it Bill Nicholson. But then you'd have to do that every bloody year, wouldn't you? I was saying last night, because Levy's always quibbling about £5 million on every player. Just club up and just give him, look, these $5 million and stop fucking about. Just buy the player, But or even maybe just don't give yourself £500,000. Like, if you're going to quibble about £1.5 million on Raya, maybe don't give yourself £500,000 pay rise bonus. How about that? How about you do that? Cyril Knowlstein, there's another one. There's a lot of candidates, isn't there? It's not hard to name things. Although I don't know, we haven't had a good history of naming things. I remember, I can't remember when this was, late 80s, and Tottenham came out with two mascots dressed as like chickens, and there was a naming competition to name the chickens, and I think most people would have said like Ozzy and Glenn or something, but the winning entry, I couldn't believe it, man. They were called Tot and Ham. So one was called Tot and one was called Ham, and all I'm thinking is, dude, this is a Jewish club, mate. What you're calling a chicken ham? I mean, come on, dude. But it's just so it didn't make any sense. Tot and Ham. I don't know how long they lasted. I don't know, what was the current mascot called? Pork scratching or something? I mean, I don't know, man. Annoying because West Ham have done it at their new ground here, but what a shit ground. What a shit place to play football. They could call it, Bobby Moore. They could call it whatever they want, Jeff Hurst, but it's not a football ground. I kind of feel for, even though I hate them, it's a football hate, but I do feel a bit for the West Ham fans just being ripped out from Berlin and going up to some soulless bloody athletics track. So as with the shelf side, so there is a kind of shelf side there, is there? Okay. Hey, man, is my Spanish good? Is my Spanish good, eh? Is that? Yeah, 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 yeah. A few years ago, I traveled around America a bit, and now and then I'd nip over the Mexican border, and I had some Mexican friends there, Hispanic friends. So I started doing one of those Duolingo things, and I've forgotten a lot of it now. But yeah, mi tortuga beben leche. Um, ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, muy bien. It's fun. I quite like learning a little bit of languages before I go somewhere, because it's funny. Sometimes you don't need to learn that much, just to at least show you're making a little bit of an effort. You only need to learn a few words here and there, and when you do that, you start picking other things up. Um, yeah, I quite like doing that. The last time I did that was I did a holiday in Croatia and Bosnia a few years ago with my Bosnian Croatian mate, and just picked up a little bit of Hrvatska, um, just to just to have a bit of a laugh, really. Because often you can pick up phrases, and when you sense what the meaning of like slang or common phrases, and you kind of, when you hear them in context, you kind of get what they mean, and they don't really directly translate into English. Like in Bosnia, you know, there's a phrase that kind of means, I don't care, yeah, whatever. And it's boli me kurac, which literally in English means, my dick hurts. It's just funny picking things up like that. Born to lose. Are there many Spurs fans in Ozpool? I'm sure we'll get a fair few more now with Ange at the helm. Well, no. The only Spurs fans I've really bumped into, I've not built. I don't think I've bumped into, or if I have, it's been so few I can't remember. I haven't bumped into any Australian fans. The fans I've bumped into have tended to have moved over from England. But yeah, I'm hoping a few more. I'm bound. I'm sure it's going to happen. I saw something in the news today where there was the pre-match friendly they're having in Perth, Spurs and West Ham. Ticket sales were a bit, but when Angel's been hired, there's been a bit of a spike in ticket purchases. So that's a promising. So I'd love walking around here and seeing a few more Spurs shirts. Even if they're only around for 4 years, but I sense that once a lot of people once you get stuck into a club, even if Ange moves away or it don't work out, you'll end up hanging around. Like I say, anyway, I don't. Anyone can support any team however way you want. There's no right, no way, wrong way to do it. A lot of people are, support a team for life. That's what what I do and people I know do. But the world changes, doesn't it? Oops. Let's just put my thumbnail up just put that up for a bit, and I'll just go. There we go. Do you think Ange has some aces up his sleeve regarding gems of players from the Asian or Australian leagues? Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Asian league for sure, man. He's all over that like a rash, man. He knows. I know he knows at least the J League. I'm pretty sure he knows the K League as well. Australian leagues, I'm sure he'd be familiar with it all. I'm not sure if you're going to find many gems over here. The standard of Australian league football isn't that great. I haven't watched it for a while. In fairness, though, it might have improved, but I tried to get into it a few years ago, and I just couldn't watch it for some reason. And I'm quite happy watching. One of the streaming services, it didn't have Premier League, so it had Championship football. I might bung on the odd game of that, and it was fine. I don't mind a bit of non-league football from time to time, or watching a bit of non-league football here. But there was just something about maybe I just got unlucky with the matches I was watching, but they just felt like there was something missing from it. I can't quite put my finger on it. Also, so the mascots are Chirpy and Lily. Okay, I get Lily White. Chirpy, because a chicken chirps. Is that it? I mean, all chickens chirp. What? I mean, this is a Tottenham rooster, though, a Tottenham cockerel. Fuck me. Fuck me. Planet stupid, man. Planet stupid. Talking of planet stupid. Now, I see, got me off on a tangent because of chickens. Went to the supermarket today. Tomato. I can't figure this out right. Tomatoes, $12 a kilo. $12 a kilo, which is a bloody lot. Chicken breast, $11 a kilo. How can tomatoes be more expensive than chickens? I don't understand it. Like chickens, you've got to like look after them and shit like that. And like when it comes down to the basics, chickens can't photosynthesize. You have to give them shit. Tomatoes, you just, I don't know, fucking mad. Everything seems to be linked on some global market. So if someone in Berlin wants to pay $12 for a kilo of tomatoes, somehow the whole world ends up paying I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. Got a good project coming up though, because I've got my, because I can't work at the moment for a few months, so I'm gonna go to make mine in the Blue Mountains, and I'm gonna work on doing a little veggie patch there because I feel like it. I think it'd be very rewarding to grow your own grub instead of buying it in a plastic wrapper. Actually, something and you can do this in any country because I do this a bit in Australia. Have I got the book here? I haven't got the book to hand. Haven't got it to hand. I got a book, Edible Wild Plants in Australia. I learned a bit about foraging. I was just curious, when you're walking around the park or bushland or wherever, can you eat any of this shit? And it turns out, yeah, you can eat an awful lot of it actually, and it's funny. It's funny. I know a friend of mine does it in England. She walks around her local park and she knows which mushrooms are edible and stuff like that, and she just cooks up with it. And some people think that's dirty, and it's like, well, where do you think food comes from? I don't know. And when you get it straight out of the ground, it's super nutritious. Dandelion leaves, bloody good for you, man. Better than spinach that you buy in a shop. Um, Koliko Costa, Croatian. Okay, yeah, you know a little bit of lingo as well in Croatian. So if I said Stema to you, you wouldn't give me the right response if you're Croatian. So if I say Stema to a Bosnian, they say, evo ništa. Viva el vino y la mujeres. Live, wine, and the something. Live. The wine live. We've live. Nah, man. Mujeres. Don't know. So maybe good. Maybe that's like have a good wine gives you good life. Something like that. I don't know. No, Viva. It's Viva. No, Viva's life, isn't it? The reason I know Viva because I remember I used to work for this company in Australia. It was a fast-moving consumer goods company, and they had this like kitchen towel, and they had a naming competition for what the name of this thing should be. And my suggestion was Outback Strength Absorbos, and I was just pipped to the post, and they called it Viva, but I thought my name was better. Chirpy because Kane eats from Levy's hand. Yeah. Look, I'll put a few more players that are more likely to do that than Harry Kane. Let's see, I think Harry Kane's kind of a simple guy. I don't think he's into all that shit. I think he's just simple. He's just football, like Bill Nicholson says. I think he's just got a football brain, man. But there are other characters in there like Eric Dyer and Ben Davies that have got more of a look in with Levy. And I think Andrew's got to stop all that if he can. Mark Stossi says, after watching A-League and then watching Premier League, you're sport in England. Yeah, it is. It is amazing, isn't it? And it's always kind of been that way. Well, I preferred it when the game was a bit more physical, and I hate VAR. VAR shits me to tears. I don't care if referees make the odd mistake. I really don't. And I think that was a TV-driven thing because back in the match of the day or big match days, they the most you'd get from a commentator would say, "Oh, maybe that was onside or something like that," and then they just move on and get on with the game. Where in this day where everything is analysed to fuck, um, I suspect that all the pundits would be sitting there and they'd be going all through the bad decisions with a fine tooth comb, da 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 da, and that probably led to all this and I reckon gambling's probably got something to do with it as well because the whole thing's gone gambling mad. Everyone's gambling on apps now. Every time I watch sport, I wish I could just tell Google, man, just look, show me ads. I get you got to make a quid or two, but can you just stop with the gambling shit? I hate it. I hate it. It's so asinine here. Like the way it's advertised in Australia, it's like everyone wins all the bloody time. It's like a party, and then there's a little warning at the end. You may lose. You will probably lose more than you win, or it says think of what you could buy instead. But the damage is already done, isn't it? And people are just gambling mad now in this country. Gambling mad. It's such a waste of bloody time and effort. All right, see you, Chris. Have a good time, man. Oh, long live the wine and the women. All right, I was sort of maybe not quite in the ballpark, but maybe just a couple of streets over from the ballpark. That'll do. I mean, it wasn't a tough one, really, was it? Viva il vino. My Greek is not. No, I don't know any Greek. All I just know like LLF because I got Greek friends and they say that to each other, and then a few dodgy words, A friend of mine did tell me that Postacoglu he reckons that surname He describes it as coming down from Asia Minor, so more Turkey area. Greeks moved down, and he said that glue means boy. So, all right, all right. Oh, look at you, bunch of. Oh, oh, yeah, you all speak all sorts of languages you like. It's just me, dummy English guy. I mean, you only expect me to learning languages in a school in the bloody 1980s anyway. I'm a fucking French man. Oh my God. You know, où qu'il a dépend, s'il vous plaît. We used to have this book called Eclair, and he had this robot called Pumph. And they used to say Zut alors. And whenever I say Zut alors to a French person, they just piss themselves laughing. It's like, apparently that's something you would say in the 1950s. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Grassy Knoll time. Audio artisan. And are you called out because are you interested? Do you do music or anything like that, mate? Good name to have. Uh, do you think Mason is Levy's secret agent? I can imagine him having private meetings and reporting back. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. See, why I'm saying I don't know is because I don't know if there's much secret about it. I think they probably talk quite a lot. I don't know. And I heard, I mean, who knows if it's true? I heard Mason will be staying at the club, which I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Just make a clean break, If you want to make a career, go and try it for yourself at a club. Because if you're not willing to do it at another club, when we lose another manager, I hope we don't, man. But if we do, what makes you think that you've got the right to manage Tottenham Hotspur Football Club if you haven't got the bollocks to, do it for proper at another club? I don't know. Don't know. Yeah, that's right, Mia. All the bad words. All the bad words. Oh, and I've sworn in English. Oh, yeah, Malacca. There's one. I mean, that's the one people know. There's probably phrases that I shouldn't say though. Oh, you went to Greek school. Okay, yeah, fair enough, man. Yeah, you got to do it. Got to do it when you got to speak lingo with the fam. Mate, don't worry, lad. Your memory serves you well. It's sort of hit and miss. It's very selective. I remember weird things and forget important things. Like one thing I always forget, man, and I did it today again. I think as I get right, I'm going to go to the supermarket. I'll grab a I'll grab a carrier bag out of the drawer. Do, 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 do. And by the time I've put my hat on, I'm out the front door and I'm thinking, fuck, I've got to buy another plastic bag now. Every time I've got, uh, I mean, my carbon footprint in my kitchen drawer full of plastic bags, it's probably made the sea level go up that much. How much I've wasted. Oh, DJ producer, cool, man. You got a link or anything? Is it stuff that you want to share around or because I do a bit of music. I've got a little channel, but it's basically just fuck around stuff. It's just I do stuff with friends of mine, and I just like jamming, improvising. We're all kind of really amateur, but like when we get together and play, I like what we do. I really enjoy the music we make, and I do listen to it a fair bit, and I think that's what you want to do. Well, that's what I like doing. I like making music that I really want to listen to. So, when I hear musicians like a band I like is the Dandy Warhols, and I've heard Courtney Taylor, the lead singer, like band leader and writer of most of their songs. I heard him saying in an interview, I think it's the greatest music. I listen to it all the time, which might sound a bit, a bit full of himself, but when you're making music, you can do that. While you're making music that you really enjoy. Why would if you're expressing yourself, man? Then that's the music that's perfect for you. When you're listening to other people's music, you can almost get close and you can get a lot of emotion out of it. But when you're putting your heart into it, I like you like listening to it. All right, I'll just put that up for a little bit. Oh, what time is it? 10:05. You know, I might wrap it up there if that's all right with everyone. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that because you ain't got a choice, mate. I'll just wait for Audio Artisan, see if he's got anything he wants to plug here, but not a lot happening. That's fair enough, man. But DJ producers all good. My youngest daughter's getting into that scene, which I'm really happy about. I did a bit of DJing in the early '90s when I was knocking about Sheffield. That was so much fun to do. Actually, it was all vinyl. Um, I used to like fucking about with the audience. So I'll play a bit of Happy Mondays, and then next song will be Shaking Stevens, just to dick with them. All right, thanks, Mayor. It's always nice. Yeah, it's always nice listening to you, Mayor. Spurs between the lines. All right, folks. Well, thanks for hanging around. I'll probably be back tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Come on, you Spurs. Oh, hang on, we got one more. Oh, now you're testing me. For you, major. Ah, you were a major phenomenon. Maybe. If it is, I'll take that as a very big compliment. Maybe I've just like projected what I would like to be when I've translated. Maybe it just means you know, you're a major fuck up or something like that, which is cool as well. I don't mind. Mark, thanks. Thanks. There's a good vibes emoji in there, whatever one that looks like. Oh, you are the best phenomenon. Oh, thank you, man. No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, folks. So I've got nothing to end with. So I will just uncomfortably click this end broadcast button and I'll probably freeze for a couple of seconds before vanishing off into the ether. Have a lovely day or evening. Peace and love to you all. Bye bye for now. Come on, you Spurs. And I forgot there's a confirmation thing once you, yeah, and then I click that.